In this session, we're going to learn about variable declaration. So let's start. The first thing which we're going to do is to install Node.js. It's mandatory to run JavaScript code because it's the runtime environment which is used to basically execute your JavaScript code. And in order to install that, just visit nodejs.org website and you can install over there the LTS version, runtime support version, or the current branch version. You can install any of the two. And I hope you already know how to install an application onto your system. So let's move on directly to the code. Alright, and in order to check if you've got a valid installation of Node.js, just type Node in your terminal. And at the prompt here, saying welcome to Node.js, whatever version you've got. And here, we can run any command, or another way to check if you've got valid installation of Node is by entering node-v, and it's going to give you the version, which means you already have a successful installation of Node. Cool, now we should move further. So let's create an instance of Node session. Now we are inside Node's session, and let's talk about variable declaration. So we've got multiple ways to declare a variable in JavaScript. The first way is to use by var keyword. So in order to create a variable using var keyword, what you gotta do is use var keyword, and afterward assign any variable name. So at the moment I'm just gonna say x is my variable name, then we'll equate it, make it equals to some value. Let's say 78. And now my variable x is defined. Why do we need variables, by the way? Well, in mathematics, in arithmetics, we do need variables in order to perform complex equations. And that's why variable declaration is necessary in programming as well as in math. It works the same way as in math. So in order to access the value of variable x, we can just type x and it's going to give me the value of that specific variable. We can even name it differently. I can just say Thomas, var Thomas, variable name here is Thomas, and value is, let's say, 89. So if I access Thomas, it's going to give me 89. Okay. So this is one way of defining a variable. We've got other ways to define a variable as well. We can use let keyword. And let keyword is also used to define variables. The same way we can use a variable name, just the keyword is going to change. Everything else is going to remain same. I'm going to tell you what's the difference between all these types, all these ways of declaring a variable. I'm going to tell the difference as well. Let's just stick to it. So let's say let name is equals to something, Henry. Now if I access name, it's going to give me the actual value of that variable name. Okay, well, we can even use any type of name. Let's say OP, and it's equals to any number, something. We can access OP. We can even say, is this true? And I'm going to define the value, assign the value true to it. And if I access now, is this true? It's going to return me the actual value of this variable. Cool. These two ways are there. We've got another way to define a variable. We can use const keyword. So if we use const keyword, the same way we can take any variable name, can say here, let's say age, and it's equals to 45. And if I want to access the value of this variable age, we can just type the variable name and it's going to give us the actual value of that variable. So now we know there are three ways to define a variable in JavaScript. Okay, first by using var keyword, second by using let keyword, and third by using const keyword. So what's the difference between these three? Variables defined using const are basically constants. You can't change these variables, okay? So if I try to change, if I try to reassigning means I'm giving it another value. I'm not redeclaring it. I'm going to tell the difference between those two as well. Just hang on. So if I give it some other value, let's say a is equals to 56, it's going to give me an error that what I'm doing is I'm assigning some value to a constant variable, which is would soon be done, okay? We're not supposed to do this. When we create a constant, it means it's not going to be changed, okay? That's what our intent is by creating a constant variable. So can we change the value of variable defined using let keyword, which is name. So initial value of this variable, name, is Henry, okay? We've defined it using let keyword. So if I change the variable value to something else, let's say food, it works. We can give another value to a variable defined using keyword let, which means we can reassign a variable using keyword let, defined using keyword let. Oh, cool. Can we give it some other value now? And if I try to access this name variable now, it says it's full. Initially, it was Henry. Initially, when we tried to print this variable name, we got Henry as a response. Okay, actually, hang on. And now, if I say name is going to be full, so the variable value is changed now. And if I change it further, let's say Swift, and now if I access name, it's going to give me Swift as the value of the variable. Okay, cool. Now we know that let variables defined using keyword let can be changed, okay? But variables defined using keyword const can't be changed later. Whatever value we give it initially, it's just going to be that, okay? Cool. Can we change the can we change the variable defined using keyword var? Sure we can. Let's check it in action. So I'm just saying var UI is equals to something. Okay. Now if I want to change this UI variable value to something else, I'm just gonna say something else. Okay. So now if I access UI, it's something else. The value of this variable UI is now something else. And if I change it even further, let's say something else. Now if I access UI variable, I'm getting different result. The new updated value is the result which I'm getting now. Okay, so these are the differences, and this is only related to reassigning. All right, I'm going to give you a cheat sheet as well. Don't worry. Can we redefine a variable using declared using keyword var? By redefining, I mean if I define a variable, let's say x is equals to something. At this moment, I'm just going to take an example of number. Okay, so if I redefine it or redeclare it, is it going to work? So if I say 45, some other value for 45, and if I now access x, it works, right? So variable defined using keyword var, we can redeclare it. We can recreate that entire variable, right? But if I do the same with variables defined using keyword let, is it going to work? Let's see it in action. So if I say let y is equals to some value, let's take an integer value or a number. So let's say 94. And if I define it again, okay, I define the variable once. If I define it again, is it going to work? Actually, let's see it in action. So if I say let y is equals 76, it's just going to give me error because y is already declared. And if I use const to declare a variable, let's say z, and z value is 89, if I redeclare it, right? So if I say const z, I'm redefining the same variable. Let's say 90 at the moment. I'm getting the same error. Identifier z has already been declared. So can you realize what's happening here? Var is something which was initially usable, okay? People were using it initially when the language was born in 90s and early 2000s. But now we see issue. If I define a variable using var, some other person working can define it same, or even I can define it again in some other code or somewhere else, and it's just gonna override the previous value and previous variable as well. That's why we don't use this var declaration anymore. Okay, so what do? We use let to declare a variable, and we use const to declare a constant, which ain't gonna change later. Okay, cool. So this was all about it. I'm gonna give you a cheat sheet, a PDF cheat sheet as well, mentioned in down below. And what you want as a homework for you to do is, I just want you. Okay, I'm gonna include a PDF of the homework as well. Till then, see you in the next episode.